All right, so this is going to be my last video regarding my pec tear, the healing process, and everything that has happened since. So, 6 months ago, I tore my pec bench pressing. There's a video on my YouTube, on my Instagram, on my TikTok, where you can see how that happened. I'm firm in believing that the reason that it happened was because I was 5 weeks post show. My body was still healing and recovering from competition, and my muscles had more glycogen and water in them than normal. So, when put under the heavy loads that I was underneath, 365, it should have been a set of 8 to 10, but it's still a heavy load. I was still pushing the pecs to pretty close to failure, right? So they were just getting larger and larger and larger, and the connective tissue and the muscle just couldn't hold up with that amount of volume being in the muscle. So I'm a firm believer that had the biggest role to play with it. That in conjunction with prior injuries, and maybe a little bit of form degradation, but that's still a little bit up in the air. Some people say yes, some people say no. So who really knows? However, that was 5 weeks away from my wedding and honeymoon. So me and my wife got married 5 weeks later, and then we immediately left for our honeymoon. And so when I got back, I had surgery, which was 19 weeks ago. So after 6.5 weeks after the tear, I had surgery. My pec repair was not a normal pec repair. Typically, when somebody tears a pec and they have surgery on it, their tendon completely detaches from the bone. However, mine did not. Mine separated at the myotendinous junction, thankfully, and it separated about over 70% of the way through. And so, thankfully, enough tendon tore off to where my surgeon was able to repair it. So basically what he did is he entered in a grafted tendon, attached it to that piece of tendon that tore off that was still attached to the muscle, and then anchored it to my humerus. So now I have 2 pec attachments. It looks much better. The scar is pretty minuscule, but he did have to open it up, so I do have about a 2-inch scar. Now the flexion and the contractions are very different than what they were before, so it's a little odd when it gets full of blood. It just feels very different, right? However, that was 19 weeks ago. I was told that it was going to take 4 to 6 months for my body to adapt the tendon, put blood vessels and nerves through it. Thankfully, at this point, I am pretty much done with rehab altogether. I have one final doctor's appointment tomorrow, and that should release me from everything. So no more physical therapy. Final doctor's appointments tomorrow. I'm already back up to dumbbell pressing 80 pounds for 10 reps. That felt pretty good. Strength is progressing relatively fast. I'm just trying to manage it, not allow it to progress too fast so that I don't re-tear anything or cause any more damage. If you watched my previous videos, you kind of know the process that I went through in regards to how I was approaching the healing process from drugs and nutrition. So just a little recap is that throughout the process, I did use BPC 157 and TB 500. I used them in varying dosages throughout the healing process and at different points in time, along with generic GH. I used that on and off throughout the healing process as well. I've been on, I ran a little bit more BPC here recently and TB recently, but the growth has stayed steady. And then just a TRT dose of testosterone. Well, I say TRT, it's 250 milligrams, which puts me just over normal levels personally. And that's kind of where I like to stay. So I like to grow. My blood pressure's good. So I'm not worried about blood thickening at this level. I check it, a couple times a week typically. Goals for the future. So as of right now, training intensity is increasing with every session. Food is steadily on the rise. So the goal is to be able to put enough tissue on over the next 6 months to my arms and my back, and then regain anything that I had lost in my pec and delt. But then add tissue past what I was before to my arms and my back so that I can have a competitive physique. Hopefully compete next year, start prep in January or February, and then we're going to prep, compete, hopefully June, and then hopefully hit USAs in July, where I can win my pro card. I would love to have redemption at nationals, to be honest with you. Placing 13th was not what I wanted to do. However, it highlighted how not ready I was to be a pro, and I'm okay with that. So the placing doesn't bother me at all, but I would kind of like redemption at nationals. I just don't want to wait that long. And the reality is that I can't get it done this year because I don't have enough time to grow and improve my physique and then do a prep on top of that. So that's it regarding the pec tear and the rehab. If you have any questions, if you're going through this yourself, feel free to reach out. I'm an open book about this, or as much as I can be anyways. And there were some tips and tricks throughout the process that really helped me out, because it's the mental aspect of it is probably the hardest part. The physical stuff is just whatever it is, but the mental aspect is really where it can hurt you. So if you're going through this, feel free to reach out, man. I'll always be an ear here. So thank you.